Yes, the boys are back in town and we're ready to tell you what's going to go down over this weekend. There are a lot of games that have gone on in the UEFA Champions League. And in the words of China Achiru, they say when the elder speaks, you can repeat them because whatever they say is true. Even when elders lie, especially when you're in this part of the world, a lot of elders lie. And it was on his altar in his pulpit, and he said that the UEFA Champions League is for Tuesdays and Wednesday, but Arsenal are so used to playing in the Europa League that they have to play the Champions League against the Europa Cup winners Atalanta on a Thursday. Whatever he has to say is his own. Will come. But let me remind you guys, viewers out there, that when Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool at Anfield, China decided to conspire with the internet for him not to be on the show. Manchester United are back to winning ways. Will they continue this weekend? For me, I believe that they will continue. Crystal Palace are not what they used to be. They've lost to Lise, who brings the spark. Iberici is not all. Ibericheze is not all that. But then there is a man who I listened to his press conference, and it felt like it was a TED talk. It was an inspiration. He said, "My father is a refugee from Congo. And what are the chances? What are the odds that I would play in the Premier League and win titles? The odds are 0.00 something. Okay, what's something, right? And the same way people talking about him being a coach now, the odds against him are as bad as they can be. Plus the fact that the color of his skin is black. We must give Bayern Munich, yes, this jersey that I'm wearing now, we must give Bayern Munich some credit for even taking the bold step. One of the top clubs that have given a black man the opportunity to coach their team. But we're not talking race right now. We're going to extray what's going on in Germany. Vincent Kompany's ball is taking over Xabi Alonso's ball. As a flick, it's been flicking everybody since. I've been giving everybody flicks. But then Monaco were not having any of that because they believe that if I can beat you in preseason 3-0, I can beat you as well in the Champions League. Unfortunately, Manchester United this season does not know what the new Champions League look like. They don't know how it feels like. They don't listen to that music. So we're not going to talk about them, in relation to the Champions League. Next week, we would have something to talk about Manchester United and whatever competition they've chosen to play. Maybe they'll be going to places like Mesopotamia, Heracles, those places that Apostle Paul in the Bible used to go to back in the day. But for us here, let us have some fun. Let us talk about football this weekend. One game that really tickled my fancy, that caught my attention, was Liverpool. And the reason why that is was that they were going to Milan. And as bad as Milan may have been, Milan is still Milan. They were going to Milan knowing fully well that over the weekend there's the Milan derby, and you expect that Milan will raise their game a bit and to see what comes up. And the funny thing is that the two Milan teams were playing against two English teams, one against Liverpool and the other one against Manchester City. One ended in a draw, and we saw what Liverpool did after the Newcastle defeat. So let me start with you, Bobby, and I'll go to China later. How do you rate Liverpool? Like I said the other time, that I thought it was just a blip. It's not a regular thing, but losing at Anfield is not a good sign. How do you rate Liverpool after the Milan game?
It was an impressive win for Liverpool. And we all know Liverpool. Liverpool is the kind of team that when it comes to the European nights, they're a top tier team. Then you can put them in the league of AC Milan, Real Madrid. So when it comes to European nights, you can count on Liverpool to deliver. I'm not saying that they will win every game, but you can count to them big games in the San Siro, the Bernabeu, Camp Nou. Liverpool can effectively go there and win, even if they happen to be doing bad in the Premier League, notwithstanding. But also, when I was talking about their form and club, I wasn't necessarily talking about their form outside the Premier League. The Premier League is different. It's different altogether compared to Europe. So
Okay.
coming back to that game, that was an impressive win. Defensively, they were solid. AC Milan, yeah, they're not really the AC Milan of this current AC Milan under Fonseca. They haven't gelled at all. They haven't even when they were coming to the stadium for that particular game, the fans were outside and they had a banner which was saying that Fonseca, this is your last chance. It was the same thing in the weekend game. So basically, I wasn't really expecting much from AC Milan in that game. But Liverpool did what they had to do. Defensively, they were solid. 2 set pieces, 2 goals, Szoboszlai converting his chance. It was more like boys against men.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree on that one. Just before I circle to China, While men were playing in the Champions League, boys were playing in the Carabao Cup or the Calabar Cup at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium. It was Manchester United versus Barnsley. And they proved that even in the boys' game, they were men of that competition. And your coach, Erik ten Hag, I've always said that they should measure him by his title. Is Manchester United on a match to another cup win? And if there is a cup on the horizon, is that cup a Carabao or Calabar Cup, as we love to call it? Is that the cup that they're talking about? Or when would Manchester United be mentioned among people competing for the Premier League title?
When?
Yes.
Definitely not this season.
Okay.
And as I've told you earlier, I said I'll give United, that's from last season, 3 years. And within that 3 years, I think they'll win the title.
Which title?
It sounds hefty.
Which
the
title?
Premier League title. This Premier League. 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. I give them 3 years. That is this season, next season, and the next one. So within
what
that
you're
3
saying
years,
is in 2027 May, Manchester United will be lifting the Premier League.
It could be even before then, but within that 3 years, they will win the league.
Rotten fish.
Then about the cup, about this season, about winning a cup this season, I don't think it's going to be the Carabao Cup. I'm looking more at between the FA Cup and the Europa League. More
because
towards the Europa League.
Somewhere in this cup competition is the fact that the coach of Tottenham Hotspur have said emphatically that he wins titles in his second season. I know that there is no European competition for them, and it is definitely, absolutely, definitely not the Premier League title. So you guys should realize that there is not a very, very featherweight competition for the cup. But whatever it is, let me go to Port Harcourt. China Acheru, I mean, after the loss to Nottingham Forest at Anfield, it's a big deal when Liverpool lose at home. It's a big deal because that's a place where even the biggest of teams, the Arsenal, the Man City, the Man United, go and they tremble. But Nottingham Forest is a big team. They've won the Champions League twice. But Nottingham Forest coming from the Forest and using you guys for sacrifice in your own home, it's a strange thing. But how did you guys react? React from a defeat is always very, very important. Take us through your feeling after the defeat to Nottingham Forest and going into Milan. I know now you've won, but before the winning, how was it like?
I was really indifferent, and that's how I was. Because before the season started, a lot of the pundits said Liverpool will be neither here nor there. New coach, new team, new style. Exactly. But all of a sudden, the team won the first 3 games, all clean sheets, and they suddenly became title contenders. So I'm thinking that this loss brings us back down to earth. Let's realize it's the same new coach, new team, new style. For me, it's always sad to lose the game anywhere, and I wasn't happy we lost the game, but I moved on immediately. I was like, okay, good for us. Now we can, start thinking like a real team. And it will take away that pressure of the only team yet to concede, the only undefeated team. I know very soon they will start saying things like, can you go the season unbeaten? Just take off that pressure and start your life afresh. Against AC Milan in Italy, apart from 1965, where we lost to Inter Milan, we have won every other time we went to Italy to play. We have won every other time. And AC Milan in the past 3-4 seasons have not been the team they should be. Again, I was indifferent. I was looking at, okay, will the coach eventually rotate the team? Then I saw Sinica starting in left back. Right, I saw Cody Gakpo starting in the midfield. I said, okay, 2 new players in starting lineup. Let's see what happens. Conceding first. I'm part of 4 Liverpool fan groups, and I saw panic. Eventually, the team won. I think it just shows that we can keep our heads. That's the proper reaction after losing at home. That's the proper reaction. Again, I still stand by new team, new coach, new style. Let's wait and see what Slot has to offer. And like I said before the season started, for me, I'm good with the top 4 finish. Whatever happens after top 4 is a bonus for me. I'm good with top 4 finish.
There is a lot of games coming up this weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and some big games, some regular games. What are your thoughts on the games coming up this weekend?
If you judge based on the strength of the teams, I don't really see any really big matchup. Okay, there's a game in Bauchi between Lobby Stars and Rivers United.
That's a big matchup.
That for me looks like the biggest game because Aimba is playing Aimba is playing on the continent, so not in the league. Rangers also play on the continent, so Lobby Stars versus Rivers United is the biggest game on paper. Now for Lobby Stars, just a few days to the start of the season, they wiped out the management of the team and brought in a new group. So I'm sure that based on how we do things in Nigeria, the team will take a bit of time to stand on their feet. One of the first things the new management did was to move their home games from Lafayette, which is just about a few hours, maybe about 2 or 3 hours from their base. They moved their home games to Bauchi, which is a longer distance. And what I'm asking is, why did they do that? A lot of things are going to change. Possibly coaching changes, possibly personnel changes. So we're going to watch Lobby Stars for the next 3-4 games and see. In Nigeria, we do things differently in Nigeria. Now, but for Rivers United, seems a stable team. Former Super Eagles coach Finidike joined the team about 2 months ago. He has won 1 and drawn 1 already away from home. Looking good. He has not made a promise to Port Harcourt people. But for people of Port Harcourt and fans of Rivers United, they want to win the league. The coach has not put pressure on himself. That's where our eyes will be. In another game.
Okay,
go ahead. In another game for Heartland, we are watching the coach, Emmanuel Monike. A few months ago, he was tipped to be Super Eagles coach, a team in the league, and it's not doing well. So we are going to be watching Heartland at home to Katsina United. Can he win? If he doesn't, what becomes of him? Back to you, Daphne.
Well, before you come back to me, I need to return back to you. When I produced the league 2 seasons ago, we were not given a chance to produce a game in Rivers State. They said that they will not give us lights, so that's one. Last season, I'm not sure any game was produced in Rivers State. This season, so far, it's early days, but my question to you, China, why una dey fear camera?
I neither work for Rivers United, nor the state sports ministry, nor the state government. I'm just a citizen, like any other person, right? But when I worked for Rivers United, then it was known as Dolphins. When I worked for Dolphins as a media officer, I know as far back as 2011, which was 13 years ago, the team will not allow Super Sports to show their home games on TV. I never understood that. I never did. Yes, I was part of the team.
China, wait. China, wait. You did not understood why they did not?
Yeah, because no. When the coach will say things like, you are bringing live cameras to put my players under pressure. Does that make sense, Matthew?
No, it doesn't.
It never made sense to me. Yes, I was part of the team, but these are some of the shameful things I saw, right? You hear people say things like, why don't they go to other venues? Why do they come here? It's not about showing your matches live on TV. So it didn't start last year or 3 years ago. It has been there for the past 11, 12, 15 years. So maybe you know why, but I don't.
Then a thunder go fire you. Why would you say amigo know why? You will work for club, no know why, not me. See, let me go to Germany where they have their
Mario, if you're listening, when a Nigerian says na thunder go fire you, he's saying that lightning should come from heaven and kill me. Matthew said that on live TV.
Na thunder go fire you, no they threaten me, and then they fear you.
That lightning should come from heaven and kill me. Mario, understand what's going on here. Matthew has threatened me. Understand, just threatened me. Okay, good.
So you fear, as you did with your bad network. Thank you so much for giving let me go to Germany with that bad network. So let me start with you, Mario. First off, there's a big elephant in the room that I would want us to address later. But before we address that big elephant of 115 count charges, I mean, you need 115 count charges to eliminate Manchester City from the top of the Premier League. Do you need all of that to bring a house down? And the effect of that in the league. Before we go there, let me come to Germany. Well, before the season started, you said that Xabi Alonso would still continue where he stopped last season. It will take some time before Vincent Kompany will find his bearing. I think he's scored about 27 or 29 goals already. 9 goals to 2 in the Champions League, first Champions League match as a manager. His team is scoring 9 goals to 2. And, the sad part or the irony of this conversation is the fact that I hear feelers from Germany that the team are still not settled in yet. They are still struggling to find their bearing. If this represents struggling, when they find their bearing, when they get going, what are we in for from Bayern Munich?
Well, Bayern is always a force, but obviously it always depends on the opponent. Yeah? If the opponent sort of starts to go defensively with the kickoff and try to defend their own box, they will never succeed. We've seen already matches in the first 2 matches where, especially Wolfsburg in the season opening, where it was a very tight 3-2. Wolfsburg pressing high all over the pitch. That's not the game Bayern does like. And the same Bayer Leverkusen plays the same style. Borussia Dortmund kind of adopted that same style. VfB Stuttgart playing that same style. And if you look at the defeats last season, these were all the defeats Bayern kind of received throughout the season. So Vincent Kompany obviously has addressed the players because he knows he's been an outstanding player. He's obviously won a tremendous amount of trophies throughout his playing career. He knows that everything starts at the dressing room. I mean, Manchester United, we know that Erik ten Hag sometimes doesn't talk to his players, and the players talk left to the media, and Erik ten Hag talks right to the media because they don't talk with each other, they talk about each other. Vincent Kompany, when you look at every training and every session, he's with the players, he's close to it. And I recommend to watch a short video on the FC Bayern Instagram channel this morning, where Thomas Müller fell over his own legs, claimed that he's been fouled, and the whole team was laughing. And Vincent Kompany stands a half a yard away, laughing his hell off. You can see that the spirit within the team is perfect. That doesn't mean that the players are integrated, that the players kind of play their best positions, but the players and the coach, the team and the coach, they are one unit. And if they are one unit, that's the foundation of success. That's where Pep Guardiola kind of always protects his players. He only kind of, in very, very, very rare occasions, identifies 1 or 2 players that they not follow his guidance and kind of highlights them. Erik ten Hag, almost every press conference, there's one player not fulfilling the desire of his team, and that's the wrong attitude, similar to Thomas Tuchel. So that's why you see there is a very, very strong unity between it, and that's why I think Bayern will be a force. That's why Bayern obviously has had that great season start. They will be challenged every match day because obviously for every opponent in the Bundesliga, it's the match of the year when you play away to Bayern or at home to Bayern. So they will put 100% of effort into it, try their level best to defeat Bayern. But Bayern looks good. Bayern looks strong. I always said that Vincent Kompany needs to get a chance. I think he is the right person. He was recommended by all the people Bayern asked. I expected it to take a bit longer from a playing style, but obviously he found the right message, he found the right bond, and he found the right level of relationship with his players, and the players just perform.
But that's a pretty good one. Xabi Alonso also in the Champions League did do bad. They won 4 goals to nothing. Let's talk about a Nigerian who last season was injury prone, but this season seems to be, very audacious with his celebration, with his assist and everything that he's done. Victor Boniface. What's your own take? What's the word on the street? What's the word on the streets in Germany? What are people saying about Victor Boniface, and what's your own opinion about him?
I mean, in Germany, obviously, we think that Bayer Leverkusen did a bargain purchase and got an outstanding striker as a holding 9 who could also play on the wings, who gets his body into the game. And when you look into I think it was the first goal of Flo Wirtz, yeah, where he tries to make a trick and then kind of flicks with the left foot somehow. Yeah, it looked like he tripled or he kind of stumbled, and then by default the left leg kind of put the ball to Frimpong, and Frimpong into the middle to score the first goal for Wirtz. I thought it was intentionally done. I thought he planned it that way. It looked a bit awkward. It looked a bit funny, but he knows that he's within a great team, and the team plays for him. He plays for the team, and again, these are factors which obviously gives a player a lot of credibility. Unfortunately, sometimes agents have much bigger plans than what the players are. I can always urge, or I would always urge the player to think about the grass is always greener on the other side. What people promise you to achieve is not what you get, but what you have in your own club, what freedom you have, what peace of mind, what passing style you have, what appreciation you have, should be always considered when you think about a money trail moving on in your career. I think Victor Boniface is made for Bayer Leverkusen, is made for that team, is made for the Bundesliga, and hopefully he will stay there for the next 4 or 5 years.
We hope so as well. Why that is going on, it's certain Ile Kana breaks Kylian Mbappe's record for Monaco by scoring in the Champions League. We hope that he goes on to have the kind of career that Kylian Mbappe have or surpass it. Having said that, let's not run away from one conversation that everybody's talking about. Players, okay, 2 players. A Liverpool goalkeeper, Alisson, who's cut his beard now, maybe atonement for his his speaking out of tone. And Rodri. I've said that they are tired, the players are tired, nobody considers them. Some people have the school of, I'm not in support of what they've said, but let me play the scenario act. Some people say, oh, the players are really tired, that's why it's affecting their mental health, blah, blah, blah. A whole lot of talk. Thierry Henry, a lot of the pundits. But what people are not saying is, I've not seen a player who says, oh, the kind of job that the kind of work that I'm doing, I don't deserve to earn 500,000 pounds a week. I don't deserve to earn 450, 350, 200,000 pounds a week. Cut down my pay so that I don't play a lot of matches. Again, a team registers between 30 to 35 players. You're telling me that if a coach rotates these players, they will not get the balance. And then some of these players also don't want to sit on the bench. Over 2-3 consecutive games, they start giving you attitude. But then the same players are complaining that there are too many games. This seems like the egg and the chicken situation. What's your take, Mario, before I come to Bobby? What's your take on these players complaining that there are too many games and they are tired? How can you be tired playing football?
Well, let's look at the Premier League, the NPFL. Yeah, when Port Harcourt team Rivers United need to travel to the north to play an NPFL game, they are 36 hours on the road. Yeah, by bus, a little bit on the plane.
No, Mario. I know what you're trying to do. This is not going to work. It's not going to work with me. No, it's not going to work with me. No.
That back to the big. Let me speak.
Let's go to Europe. Let's stay with Europe.
We have 365 days in the year. Yep. Let's count off New Year's Day, which the Premier League is playing. Let's count off New Year's Eve, which the Premier League is playing. So let's say we have 360 days.
Okay.
And the regular players play 80. So divide 360 by 80, that's 4. Every 4 days you play. And you not play at home or away. You play at the far bottom corner of Europe. You play at the far north of Europe. You finish a game. You travel at night. You reach in the next morning. You go into the physio to get your muscles kind of weighed up. You have half a day left to kind of prepare for the next game. What the players are saying, that there's no regular training. There is just recovering from the previous game and preparing for the next game. And because every competition counts, because there are pundits and expert or so-called expert like us, there are medias around Europe who saying that he didn't perform last night. And obviously there is social media where all the betting and gamblers are kind of infuriating and harassing players if they don't perform 94 minutes or if they concede the last goal. That's all pressure. It's not physical pressure, it's mental pressure, because you always prepare. You prepare, you prepare, you prepare, you perform, you prepare. Football is a game of 90 plus stoppage time where your opponent trying to force you under pressure. What does pressure mean? It releases stress in our brain, because how do people react when they come under pressure? It's finding the right pass, putting the ball to the stands when danger is near, and getting into the match plan. So if you have for 200 days no time to prepare on the training ground for your match plan, because everything you have is studying 6 weeks in preseason time, that's where all the routines need to be ironed out. That's very challenging.
No,
and
Mario,
I understand the players, and the 15 million euro salary, that's pain money. Yeah, because that's pain money.
Okay, so you're telling me that the doctor that stands 12 hours almost every day, or the nurse that stands 12 hours every day, should also be paying money for standing. But let me adjust it here. In the Premier League, in English football, there are 92 teams in the English pyramid. And of these 92 teams, there are at 35 players per club. You have 3,220. Yes, that's the total number of players you have in the English football pyramid, 3,220 at 35 players per club. Not all is 35, but I'm just being bogus. But let me even try to reduce it and bring it down to, say, 92 clubs times 30 players per club. You have 2,760. The English league have 7 teams in European competition. 7 teams in the Premier League. So you have another 13 teams that are not playing in European competition. The teams that are playing in European competition do not participate in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. And then somewhere they get those buys. And now all of a sudden these guys are complaining, oh, the games are too much. They even want to go on strike. How do you manage to take the pain of 5% of the population in a competition as the one that override over the other 95%? I think that for me, I think that these players are being over-pampered. We've lived in an era where the tackles were harder, the treatment facilities were not as good as they are today, the traveling arrangements were worse than this, but yet the players were a lot more committed. And today, if my shadow leans on your shadow, on your body, I get a yellow card. If I stand, talk to you, if I just wave my hand towards you, I get a red card. Yet, with all this protection, with all the top facilities in terms of medical facilities, treatment, cryotherapy, a routine of doctors, you're telling me that the players are too tired to play because they play once in every 4 days? Oh, come on. Please. 15 million a year.
I turn this around. I turn this around, Edaf, and saying, have you ever heard James Pickford complaining about too many games? Have you ever heard Oral Mangala, somebody from Everton, somebody from Southampton, somebody from Wolves, ever complained? No, of course not, because they don't have that pressure. You talked about Rodri and you talked about a couple of others. They play at the highest league. They play every 4 days. They know how difficult it is. The majority, 99% of the players never complain.
That's also the same reason why Pickford and the Everton players don't get paid what Rodri get paid. The higher you earn, to whom much is given, much is expected. You can ask for more money and then not expect to play more games. That's the way I say. But let me go to Bobby. Bobby, I know that somewhere in your heart of hearts, you have your Bible, you have you're praying and fasting fervently that Man City be expelled from the Premier League. Because to a Man United fan, not only is Liverpool their only rival now, the quiet City neighbor have become a problem, a pain in their neck, doing the things that normally were exclusively reserved for Man United. Talk to us about the 115 count charges. And do they really need 115 count to dislodge Man City from dominating the Premier League?
So in relation to the 115 charges, so I decided to know exactly what these charges are. So I decided to do a little bit of research, checked a few articles by Matt Slater of The Athletic. So this is what I came up with. So basically, the charges are divided into 5 categories. The first category is 54 charges of failure to provide accurate financial information. Yeah?
Why is that
the second one? Wait, I will explain. The second one is 14 charges of failure to provide accurate details for player and manager payments. The third one is 7 or 21 charges of breaching PSR. Then you have 5 charges of failure to comply with UEFA's financial fair play regulations. Then the last but not least is 35 charges of basically failure to cooperate with the Premier League's investigations.
Now,
so
hold
basically,
hold on before you go on to explain that UEFA part. Was City not tried, found guilty, and they went to the Court of Arbitration for Sports, and that one have passed? Why is the Premier League bringing it up again? Is it not double jeopardy in law?
No, it's not. So actually, what happened? That particular issue went to UEFA. They took it to court. They went to CAS. It was dismissed because the evidence was deemed unconvincing. Yeah. Why? The genesis of this investigation was the hacked emails. The emails that were presented, for every email, you have to put into context. There has to be an email before and an email after. UEFA only presented the emails. They didn't present the ones before and the ones after. So it's invariably, that cannot really stand. That's why it was dismissed. Meanwhile, the Premier League have gone to get extra evidence, more conclusive evidence. What the case of the Premier League is way higher than that of UEFA. UEFA's own was not in depth. That is what you should know, that it wasn't in depth. So we start with the first one. So basically, the first one is basically overblated commercial deals earlier on. For example, disguising owners' funding through bogus sponsorship deals. For example, a deal of like 50 million with the Etihad is actually an £8 million deal, with Sheikh Mansour offsetting 42 million. The second one basically is falsified transfer fees, agent fees, manager payments, and manager payoffs.
Wow. Village people have decided to call Bobby, and let me jump to China before Bobby comes back. China, does it make you happy?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bobby, go ahead.
Yeah. The fourth one basically is filing of wrong information in accordance with UEFA rules, and basically the fifth one is basically the City fighting with the Premier League. Even if they escape other charges, this particular one will still get a penalty, which would be a heavy one. For example, Forest, Everton, they cooperated with the Premier League, but they still got fined. Leicester did not cooperate, but Leicester won the case.
Good. That's why I wanted to go to. Leicester managed to find a loophole and escape it.
Yeah.
And nobody's complaining. But I hear a lot of rumors that everybody wants Man City to be punished. Why is everybody getting orgasm over Man City getting punished? Can't you beat them on the field? Must they get punished for them to go down off the top of the league?
Yeah, the problem why people want them to be punished because the foundation of their success is on this.
Is the foundation of Manchester United's success not tainted? Is the foundation of Chelsea's success under Roman Abramovich not tainted? Can Arsenal beat their chest and say there are some things that are not tainted? Is there anybody who can be successful in the Premier League without eating from the tree of the poison chalice?
The question is, you say, is Abramovich's foundation not tainted? You can talk about Abramovich, yeah. Is the foundation of United tainted? Does United have a rich owner? Has United ever had a rich owner? Let me tell you, before the Glazers came in, if the Glazers did not come in, United would have been able to sustain themselves financially without even any
no. So this is what I'm saying. Somebody committed rape, another person committed arson, another person committed armed robbery. They are all crime. So it's not just only based on a rich owner. Man United have been manipulating matches through referees over the years. And then
where's the proof?
Oh, okay.
Where's the proof? That's the thing. See, even if you might say somebody has committed a crime, everybody should provide their proof.
Bobby, in all honesty, are you sitting here? Forget the fact that you're a Man United fan. Are you sitting here telling me that Man United have not been manipulating matches? Can you, in good faith, look me in the eye and tell me, oh, Man United have not been manipulating matches? Your children will watch this video tomorrow in the future.
I ain't gonna say United were manipulating matches. No, I ain't gonna say that. No,
you ain't gonna say it. But can you say they have not been manipulating matches?
No, I ain't gonna say that. Manipulating. We want.
Nah, you don't get accent. You don't get accent.
Eh? We want games fair and square. We want titles fair and square.
Thunder go fire you too.
Come on,
man. China, let me wrap up with you here. As a Liverpool fan, do you want to see Man City kicked out of the Premier League? 1 minute.
I'm not but I'm not bothered about that case. But if it happens, then that means you get 2 extra league titles. That's good for me. But it really doesn't concern me. It doesn't concern me.
So as we wrap up, let me go to Mario on this. So Mario, you've got less than 2 minutes. If not, the system will cut you off. That's if you choose to talk longer than that. What do you think this would say about English football? Long time ago, I interviewed you and you gave me the breakdown of how Bayern Munich raised their money through the supporter straws, the whole system of Bayern raising money. In Germany, the system is clear, right? But it's not like that. They kick Man City out of the league. What does it portend for potential investors in the league and, you know, all other rich people looking at the league?
Well, first of all, I want to just make a comment on the 115 charges. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're talking probably about 15 or 18 substantial charges. All the others are just follow-on effects. Failure to cooperate. What does it mean? I mean, you asked the right question.
I don't understand.
To Bobby. Well, my failure to cooperate is if I don't answer your question, I'm a failure to cooperate with your question. So it's nonsense, to be honest. And then infiltrating sponsorship deals. If the sponsor is willing to pay that amount of money, the sponsor is stupid enough. TeamViewer pays whatever 65, 80 million to Man United. Are they crazy? Yeah, for a shirt who's probably value about 50 million because they rarely play international competitions or the lower part of the competition. So it's if the sponsor is willing to pay in the negotiations, that's fine. And Manchester City will be punished because the whole football world wants them punished because Manchester City is too successful. That's the simple answer of the case. We hate successful teams if we don't follow them. So at the end of the day, I think Manchester City will get punished because but it will be face value. And face value will be they will be deducted 30 points. They will still qualify for an international competition because the Premier League will punish itself if they bring Man City to the fall.
Thank you very much. See, Mario, that's all I wanted to hear, and I'm good with it. That's how we wrap it up today. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good weekend, and let's meet again on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.